Hey guys, so we're back again with another reading, and this one is all about what do people find sexy about you. So what is a little bit of a turn on about you, things that people find attractive and exciting about you. We're going to get into all of it. And if you like this topic and want to know more on it, I am going to do an extended reading on my Patreon. So check that out if you want to find out all the juicy details that don't fit on YouTube. That will be at the link in my description at my Patreon, and you guys can hear all about it. And if you want a private one-on-one reading with me, I'm booked for this month, but I have some openings in the middle of next month. So check out my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you guys can get your appointment in, get yourself booked, and then have that to look forward to. So with that being said, today we brought back the food. I know some of you guys have been missing it, so I figured we would bring it back for you guys. And maybe one is already jumping out, calling your name. If it's your first pick a card, you want to go towards the one that is calling your energy. So a great practice is to ground yourself, take a breath, relax, and then go to the one that is just calling your name, pulling your attention, drawing your energy in, and that will be the pile with the message for you. So I'm going to put all the numbers up on the screen so you can see which ones are which. And at any point, whatever you guys feel drawn to, you can already skip ahead to that. If you guys need more time, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need. But we are going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey pile one, so if you guys picked this pink pudding, this is going to be your reading. So you can see there's a little raspberry on top and this tiny little berry that looks kind of unripened. There's a little pink drizzle, maybe strawberry drizzle or something. And the pudding is super soft and it looks like it would be really silky and good. And there's a little waffle cone on top as well. So it looks really delicious. There's a lot of detail on there and it looks ready to eat. So you guys got the King of Wands, the Wheel, the Tower, Seven of Wands, the Chariot, and the World. So I can see that you guys are very strong and fiery, and people are very turned on by this. People are turned on by your energy and your spirit, which I feel is very strong. I feel like you guys are that type of person that maybe at first they might not know you and they might make like an off-color joke or say something that you don't agree with, maybe even like politically or just morally, like they don't think it's a big deal, but they joke about something and like there's a flash in your eyes of just like, oh, heck no, you didn't just say that kind of vibe. Like you are that type to get into an argument with someone and stand up for your morals or to like go down with a fight. Like even if you knew that the whole room was going to go against you and was going to argue with you, you would still stand up for yourself. And I feel like there's this feistiness that people are very attracted to and makes people think that you would be amazing in the bedroom. I'm getting for some of you guys, it doesn't come out at first. Like people might even underestimate you. And I just keep seeing a flash in someone's eyes, like just a look where like they are chill and then suddenly someone says something and they're like, oh, wait just a minute. And like the vibe switches. And I feel like a lot of the people that are attracted to you have seen that and are very turned on by that. Honestly, they might even try to like say stuff to get you mad or to get you upset just to get you into that vibe because I feel like they really love that. Like I'm seeing someone even like flipping a table and you might not be the type to go that far, but it's like they want to see you a little bit mad like that because I do feel like you guys stand up for yourselves and you will like go to the mat for the people you love. You're very protective and I just feel like people are very invigorated by that. There's a lot of passion with you and when you care about something, you care a lot. Like you're not going to be that person that's like, oh, well, whatever, like it was okay. You're going to be like, it was amazing. It was the best thing ever. I care so much. You might find yourself getting very like into a certain band or a certain TV show or something and like you just have to tell everyone and like when you tell them, you're going to be going on and on about it and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever. Like it'll change your life. You need to watch it. You are going to be like transformed. And I feel like people just love to see this passion. Like you seem like someone who's very alive and awake. Like you're not dull. You're not boring. You care a lot about life and you get very invigorated by things. And I do feel like people think that it's sexy when you get passionate about these things. And a lot of you guys, it feels, have been through through a lot. You might have had like a difficult childhood, or you might have just been through a lot of difficulty, had a lot of conflict directed at you. And I feel like you have this aura of strength around you because of it. Like, people know not to mess with you, and you seem like someone that will only accept the best. So almost like when you choose to date someone or go out with them, that is a mark to people, because they know that you're not going to like tolerate second best. You're not going to just accept it and kind of like deal with it, even if you're not passionate. Like, they know if you're with someone, you're going to be that ride or die, and you are going to care so much. So I feel like they just love living up to that. They love knowing that your approval of them is like a very high level of approval, is like that mark of honor, almost like getting an award from like a very prestigious, company or something like that. I got a flash in my mind of Pride and Prejudice and Elizabeth Bennet, and I feel like they're showing me that because she wasn't impressed by Mr. Darcy's like bad attitude, despite his money, despite everything else, despite like logically knowing like, oh, I should probably be nice to this dude and he's into me and I should say yes to this marriage proposal. She's just that passionate about things that like if someone says something rude to her, she's not going to tolerate it. She is going to like hold his feet to the fire. And I'm hearing that line from Pride and Prejudice that I think Mr. Darcy actually said, where he says, my good opinion once lost is lost forever. And I feel like that's you guys. So I'm getting hard to get vibes. Like, you are that person that you're not going to open up to everyone, and you're honestly kind of choosy and selective about who you're around. And if someone's acting crazy or acting weird, you're not about it. You're not going to like make excuses and try to please them. You're just going to be like, okay, on to the next. So again, your opinion, I feel like people hold it in very high regard. You feel like you guys could have your pick, and we did get the King of Wands. So there is a very seductive, sexy quality to you guys, where I think a lot of it has to do with this passion. Like, you seem like that person that would be passionate in all areas of life, including the bedroom. Like I said, you're really into something or you're not into it. So if you're choosing to be with someone, you're going to be all about it, and you're going to be a little wild and intense. And I feel like people would love to be on the receiving end of this. Honestly, I feel like this pal in particular, you guys might have a prominent Pluto, prominent Mars, definitely prominent Mars, prominent Eros. But honestly, you seem like you give off a little bit of a sexual vibe. That might even be something you guys get irritated about at times. Like, you're like, I could see this pal being like, take me seriously. like it just making you even madder. But the thing is it is a compliment, and I feel like people find you very beautiful, and it's almost like I'm seeing you guys get more attractive when you get mad. So again, that might irritate you more, as you're like, excuse me, I'm not trying to be flirting with you. I am genuinely irritated by you. But I feel like you get this look in your eyes, like a flash in your eyes, and people love to see you. Like, when you get mad, I feel like you guys talk a mile a minute. You start like going off, and people are like, wow, like she is a powerhouse, or he is a powerhouse, like dang. And honestly, part of this I do think has to do with like, you would make a great parent, because you would be like protective of your kids, or you would be protective of a partner. Like, if someone tried to come for your kids, then I feel like you guys would do absolutely anything. I'm getting like mama bear, papa bear type vibes, where you would be that protector and you would go to the mat for the people you love 100%. So I feel like people really like that, and they're very turned on by that. And again, there's a resilience here. You guys have been through a lot. And honestly, a lot of you guys, you might also be from a different culture than some of the people that are turned on by you, or there's something slightly, I want to say, elusive about you or unknowable to the people around you. Like, maybe you do come from a different culture than the people you're used to hanging around, or you just seem like you kind of come from a different world. Like, you might be someone who has a lot of knowledge about a certain area, or grew up in a very particular way, where like you're not really interested in how everyone else is doing it, because you have your own values, you have your own things. You're not trying to fit in. You like whatever culture you came from, and so you're like, yeah, I exist here and I have to like fit in with this way of doing things. But at the same time, like, I carry my culture with me, and like whatever you're doing is okay, but I have my own high standards. And if I don't like what you're doing, I don't like what you're doing, and I'm not gonna like play nice to get along with you. That's kind of the vibe. And so again, I feel like people are very intrigued. They just know that you come with your own ideas, opinions about things, and you're not going to just try to play nice to get people to like you. Let me get some more cards for pile 1. So we got the Eagle King, the Big Picture, Angelic Help, the Spiral Dancer, Circuitous Route, Perception, the Wise Woman of Wonderland, Integrity, Compromise, and the Camel Boy, Small Steps, Asking for Help, and that one is reversed. So the one all about asking for help and being like a little boy is reversed. And I think that makes sense because you guys just seem like you're not like childish. You seem like you have some maturity, maybe even some Saturn energy about you, like you guys have been through those tower moments and you have survived, you've come out on the other side and you feel mature. Like honestly, I feel like you guys might attract younger partners almost, because I feel like they're looking at you as like, wow, this person knows their stuff, and they are attracted to your wisdom and your knowledge. And even if you are dating partners the same age or older, you might take on that role of like a parent or as kind of the authority figure, because I just feel like you guys have figured out a lot of things in your life and you're highly intelligent, and people like that. Like they know when they ask you things that you are going to figure it out and be on point. You're not going to like come back with it halfway done, bad job, janky job. You're not going to do that. You are going to make sure everything is correct and everything is done well. And I feel like people really get turned on by that. Like they find that sexy because again, like I think competence, I think efficiency is sexy. And you would assume if someone's like good in all areas of their life, that they're probably going to be good in the bedroom too, and very dedicated and very like persistent, determined. So I feel like you guys just have this fiery, determined kind of fire earth energy combination going on here. But a lot of you guys are also destined for success, and I feel like that rubs off as well. Also, how you guys move your body, I feel like there's something very sexy about you, the way you walk and the way you move. If you're a woman, I feel like some of you guys have a very defined waist and then your hips kind of jut out a little bit, so it might even make you walk a little weird. I was kind of reading how like women have a more difficult time running literally because of like the hip, because of the way the hips jut out, and I guess it like messes with the way you can run a little bit. And I feel like that's something for like that might apply here to the women in this group, where maybe like when you're walking you can't help that your hips wiggle from side to side or something. And I feel like people are very turned on about the way you walk and the way you move, and there's a power and strength to it. Like when you're walking, people might even be intimidated because it feels like you just go from one destination to another and like your mind is set on it. People might be afraid, like even if they see you walking, they might be like, oh my God, that person looks like they're walking into battle, like, or they just look really distracted and I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to like ask them if, you know, how their day is going, because they look like they are on a mission and they're about to like rip someone apart, like kind of like the Terminator marching into battle or something like that. I just feel like there's an intimidation factor. Like I feel like a lot of people, when they would see you in a bar or a restaurant or across the room and they don't know you, they are highly intimidated by you. It's like, who the heck is that? And there is no way I'm going to walk up and say hi to them because they look like they are like a man eater, or they look like they are like the ultimate player. There's something about you guys that's just really intimidating. I'm seeing very beautiful eyes as well, kind of a little bit of a slant to them, or kind of almond shaped, I guess is how to describe it. Like I just feel like there's something like I wouldn't think this group would have big, wide open eyes. Like I feel like there's more narrowness to your eyes and a very pretty shape to it that I feel like, again, might even look intimidating to people. Like you don't have that kind of wide-eyed, big little kid look, you know what I mean? You look like kind of like a hunter or something like that. Like you look like you are, I don't know, it's just intimidating about your gaze, you know? And so I feel like when you're looking at someone, people might genuinely get nervous and start sweating, and like not be able to hold eye contact with you, or you might be like, why didn't you ask me out at first? When someone confesses to you like they had feelings for you all along, you might be like, okay, but we were like hanging out for a while, why didn't you tell me? And they would probably be like, I was so intimidated, I literally could barely talk to you and I was just trying to like bide my time. But yeah, like I feel like there's something about you guys that people truly get super intimidated and they might want to talk to you, but they really can't make themselves. Let me get some astrology dice and figure out the energies here for pile 1. So we got the 8th house, Scorpio, no surprise there, Mars, Aries, and the moon. Okay, so this is definitely the energy I was picking up on, especially with the moon. What's coming up to me is parenting. And like I said, a lot of you guys would make great parents. That is the 4th house is family and the moon is the mother. And I just feel like you guys would be that really protected parent. And I think this goes into people finding you sexy, it's like you would make a great parent or you would make a great partner who's going to protect everyone around you. And there's something nurturing about you. Honestly, I really do feel like some of you guys must date younger, or that's just the dynamic and you become kind of the parent for your partner just because you guys are so on point. And this is something that's really coming through. I was going to mention it with the previous cards, is that people know when they go to you that you give good advice. We got integrity, and it's like you also are very honest, I feel, very blunt and honest, and you manage your stuff well. Like you just, people know they can trust you. They know you're going to do a good job. They know that when you say you're handling something, you're handling it like Olivia Pope style. So they know they don't have to worry about you like lying or being kind of slimy or whatever. Then we have that Aries energy, Mars energy, and you guys do come through with this really strong, fiery. I would totally not be surprised if like everyone in this group has Mars aspecting the ascendant in some way, or a very prominent Mars aspect to the sun, Mars conjunct Jupiter, something like that. But it just feels like you guys come through with the heat. When you decide you want to do something, you're doing it and no one's going to stop you. You guys might even be a little competitive or be someone that people are just always amazed. Like, how did they get that done? How did they do this? Oh my God, they said they were going to do that and I literally didn't believe them. I thought there was no way, and yet they managed to do it. So a lot of people just know because of that, that you're destined for success, that you guys are going to get done whatever you want accomplished. And so I almost feel like there's a lot of people that are just turned on by this in the sense of like wanting to hitch their wagon to yours. Like they know that you're going to be making money. And so it's like they wouldn't mind being in a relationship with you because they're like, I know they're destined for the top. Then we have the 8th house, Scorpio, and you guys definitely give off a Scorpio vibe too. Scorpio's ancient ruler is Mars. Now current ruler is Pluto, but both of them are kind of warlike energies, and that's the energy with you guys. But Pluto is also that kind of psychic sign, very deep, very intense. I think Scorpio is one of the most effective and kind of warlike energies, but they do it more in a watery way. So they're not going to necessarily rush into battle like up front. They might do it secretively behind. But there's something very deep and penetrating about Scorpionic energy. It does literally rule sex. And I feel like when you are looking at someone in conversation, the look in your eyes is very penetrating. Like you see through to someone's soul. And they might try to BS you or say like, oh, everything's fine, or to say, you know, that they're handling a certain thing in a certain way. But if you guys know it's not true, you are able to see through any BS they might tell you. You are able to see what's really going on and see past the social niceties that people might say. You're very highly intuitive, and I do feel like, again, this is contributing to people's nerves when they talk to you. Like I'm just seeing someone getting so nervous to be around you because they feel like you can see through them. And I'm hearing that song by Nicki Minaj right through me. So yeah, I feel like there's something very intense about you. And like I said, when you like something, you really like it. If you don't like something, you really don't like it. And you're not going to mince your words. You're not going to play nice with people. So again, I think people really respect that. It's like they find this very sexy about you, but not just in a one night stand type of way. Like this is like relationship type vibes. And Scorpio is about that long-term commitment. I feel like this pile might have a lot of people just falling in love with you guys on the regular. Speaking of some songs, let's get some music for pile 1 and figure out the energies going on here. So we got Door, Caroline Polachek. Okay. So you guys might also come off a little bit psychic because that song always reminds me of psychic energy. Sweet Talking Woman, Electric Light Orchestra. Okay. Pillow Talk, Zayn. Something about the way you guys talk, because there's 2 songs about that. So Hot, You're Hurting My Feelings, Caroline Polachek. Digital Love, Daft Punk. There's something very sophisticated about you guys. Style, Taylor Swift. And something very dark and kind of dangerous, honestly. I feel like a lot of people would think that you would break their hearts. See, we got Selfish by Britney Spears. Like, I think people find you selfish, but they find that to be a little bit of a turn on, kind of like, go ahead and break my heart, you know, because they know that it would be like the romance of a lifetime. Like, even if you do break their heart, that it would kind of be an honor to have their heart broken by you. I just heard To Die by Your Side, what a heavenly way to die. So it's kind of like, I feel like even if you do end up putting them in pain, people are like, okay, but it was an honor to have it done by them. But yeah, there's something very kind of ethereal and I feel like artistic about you guys, about your energies, where even though you have this kind of efficiency, this earth energy, being down to earth in many ways, you're also very, I think, psychic. And I think you guys, like I said, you see through a lot of things. You're very penetrating. You're very incisive. You don't just like take things at face value. Like if someone's like, oh, well, this is going on, you're going to kind of look more deeply into the situation. You're not going to just follow the crowd. And I feel like people find this very attractive. I'm seeing some of you guys dress in kind of like loose clothing that might like swim around your body a little bit, kind of like silk gauzy type of things, or there's something about the way fabric or the way you move, because I'm seeing fabric that just is kind of swishing with the wind, and I feel like that's something about your energy. Then we also got a lot of energies having to do with how you guys talk. I feel like you guys are good in conversation. You're on point in conversation. You might have a prominent Mercury, Mercury conjunct the Sun, conjunct the Ascendant, Mercury conjunct Jupiter, or aspecting Venus. But I just feel like there's something about the way you guys speak that's very attractive. Like you have, and it could be aspecting Mars as well, because I feel like when you get heated or when you have something to say, you can be very like intense about it. Like if someone wants to argue with you at a random like dinner party, you're going to like really out argue them. And you're going to be like, well, actually I have like 5 different points I could make. And again, at first people might meet you and just be like, okay, this person's just a regular person. Or even if you do give off these psychic vibes, oh, they're really sweet, they're like water energy, but then they don't realize it's the Scorpio aspect of water, and that you guys are actually going to really come correct with your words and stuff. So yeah, I just feel like the people who are into you, they find it super sexy how you speak, the way you move your mouth, and they could just watch you speak all day long. Let me get some more cards to figure out what other energies are happening here. What are they attracted to? We're just going to get a couple of these. So this one says nose. Okay, maybe you guys have a really cute nose. Mouth, as I was saying, this is definitely how you guys speak and the way you guys just form words. Lips. Okay, so they are really obsessed with your mouth. Height. Okay, something about your height, whether you're short or tall. And figure, and this one says personality. So yeah, I had a lot of different cards in there. So it's interesting. We got a lot of physical ones for you guys. I feel like there is something very physically attractive about you guys, just about the way you look. I'm getting actually with that height card, some of you might be tall, but there also might be an energy to you about, I just think you guys have a lot of power. And for some of you guys, you might actually be kind of short, and people are drawn to that kind of contrast. Like, even though you aren't that tall, you might act like you really are. Like, you might be 5'3", but you act like you're like 6'10". And there's just this like cockiness about you that might contrast. Like, I'm getting that some of you guys physically actually are quite cute, because I really keep getting the vibe that people underestimate you at first. And again, it's this complexity to you. And I've mentioned this before, but I often find in the charts of sex symbols and stuff that they tend to have a lot of contrasting energies, like a very chill sign like Libra next to Scorpio, or Pisces next to Aries, like signs that, or a lot of Capricorn and Cancer or something like that, that seem very contrasting and seem like they wouldn't necessarily be the same type of energy, but that kind of forms this attractiveness in someone's chart, like this kind of hot and cold, like you can't quite figure them out. And I feel like that's you guys, where at first you might come off very cute, very sweet, and like, oh, they're just adorable. But once they get to know you, they're like, oh my gosh, they're really scary. They're really intimidating. They're very intense, and I'm definitely not going to mess with them. So I feel like people love that you're kind of a little bit of a surprise. Like, at first you're very nice, you're very sweet. You might have that Cancer energy at first that we got with the Astro Dice, but then it switches over into that Scorpio energy. So there's a lot of depth to you, a lot of mystery to you. And yeah, there's a lot of water energy actually in that dice. So maybe some of you guys have that water energy. And I think that can be what's very intriguing about water, is like the hidden nature to it. Like the fact that, you know, you can't really see what's underwater. It doesn't show up at first. So there's a little bit of a mystery to you guys. There's a little bit of duality and like back and forth switching going on, where one moment you're super nice and supportive, but if someone does the wrong thing or says the wrong thing, you are going to switch that up. So yeah, I feel like you guys are just quite physically attractive. Also, something about your body and some of your curves on your body, or the way your body moves. Again, I feel like your movement in your body is very attractive, and just the frame and where everything is distributed, I just feel like is very attractive. For the feminines in this group, I feel like you guys have really beautiful curves. And if for the masculines, I'm getting that you guys have really incredible shoulders, something about your shoulders being very prominent, and looking very strong and like very protective. So yeah, let me get some more cards for pile 1. So we got Storm, Spirit, Chaos, Wizard of the Woods, Focus, Unicorn, Purity, and Spirit Guardian of Autumn, Letting Go. So there is a real emphasis that you guys are picky. Like, you're not going to go out with everyone. And so some of you guys might even be a little inexperienced in relationships, but I feel like people are very excited by that, because again, you just seem like someone that you would not accept second best. Going out with you would be like that mark of approval, that like you are not going to just go out with anyone or accept anyone. And I feel like I just heard I'd rather fight with you than have fun with anyone else. So again, with the Storm, Spirit, Chaos, people imagine that you're quite feisty in a relationship, and even that you might be a little bit like dictatorial, like you are that person that's like, no, we're not going out to get Italian. I told you I wanted to eat sushi tonight, so that's what we're doing, period. You know what I mean? Like you could be a little bossy, and I feel like people find that very sexy. They find it very attractive how you will kind of put someone in their place. And if the waiter brings the wrong food out, you guys would be like, no, we're actually getting sushi. And if the waiter brought out the wrong thing, you would also be that person that would let the waiter know, or like politely be like, hey, this is the wrong thing, and like stand your ground. You know, you're not like intimidated. And so people really love that about you. And there's this emphasis that you guys, again, you're very focused, highly intelligent. You're a great ally to have on someone's side. Like, I feel like they can trust you. Like, if someone needed to bring to you a big issue, like they had some important decision to make, or a really big question to ask, or they were torn between something, you would give excellent advice. And I just think your intelligence is very sexy. The heat, the passion, and the determination you have is very sexy. So let me get some final cards for pile one. We got reparenting yourself, the gardener, resolving conflict, and abundance. So something very sexy about you guys is your maturity, that you guys are probably that person that's actually good at working out situations. And I feel like a big part of that is because you say things up front. Like if there's a problem, you're going to address it head on. You're not going to be kind of passive aggressive and like make little gestures to show you're mad and like storm off and give someone the silent treatment. You're going to be like, hey, I'm annoyed. Like you did this, stop doing it, you know? And even though at first someone might be like, oh my gosh, like they're calling me out, they're going to really appreciate that. Like you're very honest. And if someone is coming correct and being honest themselves, then it's no problem. They can probably even make mistakes or do something wrong. And as long as they genuinely are like dealing with it and apologizing and they really didn't mean to, you would totally forgive them and you would be totally okay with it. You just demand honesty and you're very honest yourself. And so I feel like you kind of inspire people to do better. You might have even had people you've dated where like, even though things didn't end up together, they really grew through your relationship and like learned to deal with their habits. I feel there's a strong Saturnian energy with you guys where you kind of teach people lessons and you leave them very different. Also Plutonian energies here where you kind of transform people, but in a good way. You really kind of help them glow up into their highest version of themselves. You help them to mature a little bit by kind of being tough on them and hard on them, which is very Saturnian. So you kind of might take on that parenting role in your relationships where you kind of are directing people, kind of urging them on, helping them to grow a little bit. And you might not have had a very strong parent figure in your life yourselves, because I do feel like a lot of you guys have always had to look out for yourselves. This is where you got this undercurrent of strength where it was like, I have got to look out for myself because no one else is doing it. And so now as an adult, people know they can respect you. They know they can come to you for advice and that you'll just take care of things and do a great job. And with this abundance energy, I really feel it gives you an energy of wealth that people just know you're going to be a success. And that's also something people find sexy about you. Success, I think in general, is just like a sexy energy, right? Like we just want to know that we're with a partner who's like a winner and who's, capable and strong and like intelligent and all these things, right? Like that's just attractive, period. So I feel like you guys have that where just you seem like an overall package type of person, like a very high level, like 10. You know how someone says someone's a 10? I feel like that's you guys. Like honestly, not trying to gas you guys up, but I just feel that there's something about you that you kind of have it all. And this is where I keep getting that getting with you is like a flex. Like just the fact that they get to be with you. Maybe your career's on point. Maybe your looks are on point as well. But it just feels like you would be the type of person that people would think you would only date like the best of the best. So the fact that you would be even talking to them is kind of like, dang, okay, I can come home and feel good about myself. I'm like, giving myself, thumbs up in the mirror because like I had this conversation with like a 10, So yeah, I feel like a lot of people find you pile one very sexy in particular. The feistiness, the energy, the power you guys exude, the fact that you won't settle and that you will like argue at times or you will keep fighting no matter what. I feel like you guys have so much determination and grit in this pile. Like if you get held back, I'm hearing Get Up 10 by Cardi B. So if someone knocks you down, you're always going to get back up. You're always going to keep fighting. You're always going to be pushing through. I'm also hearing Stronger by Britney Spears. And so there's this like super strong determination, this super strong power and energy and fighting spirit inside that I think so many people are turned on by. They definitely kind of equate that to like how you'll be in the bedroom, but I also feel overall relationship wise, they're just like, wow, this makes this person so attractive. It's definitely a turn on. And yeah, a lot of people are into you guys. Pile one, you guys are exuding a lot of this energy. So you've definitely got it going on. So I really hope that resonated. If you guys want to see the follow up to this reading, the extended version, you can definitely check out my Patreon, link in my description for that. And I'll go into this subject in more depth over there. You'll also have access to all my additional readings over there. There's a lot of them, so check that out. Make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up, guys. Hit the like button and let me know how it resonated, because I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your thoughts, your feelings. Pile one, I know you guys are great communicators, so let me know for sure. And make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you find out as soon as I post. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. I hope you all have an amazing day and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey Pile 2, so if you guys picked this green pudding, this is going to be your reading. So you guys can see there's a little almond on there, then there's a waffle cone, there's a green cherry, and then there's this green drizzle on top, which could be pistachio flavored, matcha flavored, or maybe lime flavored. It's nice and soft and squishy, so it definitely seems like it would be a pudding perfect for having at dinner or maybe getting in a pastry shop, and it looks absolutely delicious. But anyway, let's get into your cards. So we do have the Two of Cups, 10 of Cups, Queen of Cups, the Nine of Wands, Page of Swords, and finally the Six of Pentacles. So you guys definitely come off as relationship material, and I feel like people find this very sexy. There's something very nurturing and giving and loving about you guys that I feel like people think will translate into the bedroom, that you guys would be very attentive and sweet in the bedroom and in relationships in general. Like you guys are a nurturer, you're a giver, you're not selfish. And honestly, some of you guys give off a very innocent vibe, I'm getting, and I just heard I want to corrupt you. So for some of you, this kind of sweet, open-hearted, nice vibe you give off, people are very turned on by that. They actually find it very sexy in a very kind of unassuming way. Like you're not that person who's probably going to wear something really low cut, or if you do, it's in a way where there's still something kind of demure and almost like coy about it, where you don't seem like you are overly confident, I guess. You don't seem like you wear that kind of a thing all the time. Like it feels like maybe at times you seem a little nervous. And I actually think people find this very sexy and attractive, because it's almost like because you're not used to doing that with everyone, they feel like they have a special connection with you, whether even that's true or not, or maybe you're just like, you do wear it all the time, but it feels to them like they have a special connection with you. And I feel like a lot of people kind of project that on you. They see you as that long-term potential. They see you as like, oh, this would make a great girlfriend or a great boyfriend. They are the relationship material that I want. They will be so nurturing, kind, and giving to me. Some of you guys are definitely givers in your relationships, and you might even overgive in the sense of being the go-to person that all your friends go to for advice, or that they can pour out their problems on, that kind of a thing. I feel like when you have a partner, you're very linked in with them. You're very like one-on-one, very attentive to them. You care a lot about them. And a lot of people find that very sexy. They find it sexy that you prioritize them, that you are very focused on the people you love and the people you care about. And you can be, like I said, quite nurturing. We got the Queen of Cups. So you probably also might be a little psychic and intuitive, and just are always willing to give that emotional support to them, are always willing to have that conversation with them when they're stressed out at the end of the day. You guys probably think of things in advance, like, oh, they've been really tired this week, so I'm going to make their lunch, or they've been really stressed out lately about this, so I rented a hotel room and we're going to go stay, just the two of us. But there's something quite giving and emotionally aware that you guys have, emotionally intelligent, that I feel like people just really love, and people find that so alluring about you. People just know that if you were to date them or be with them, that you would be that ideal kind of partner that they could always rely on and turn to. And actually, when you are with them, you almost have a different side to you, where in the bedroom, like, you turn into that Nine of Wands energy, where you are in it, and you are like in it to win it. You know, you have a lot of fire and energy, but I feel like you direct that only towards your partner. You're very devoted to your partner. You come off like someone who is not a cheater, or not someone who is going to be prowling around looking for attention from someone else. Like, you are just devoted. You're that person that just wants that deep kind of love, deep kind of connection. So I feel like people really find that to be very charming about you, and they wish they could have that status in your life where they could be the one who has that role. Also, with the Page of Swords, you guys probably are quite enthusiastic, and there's almost a youthful, childlike quality to you at times, where when you get into something or a different subject, you're very invigorated. You might want to learn all about it. You guys are probably highly intelligent about certain subjects that you're into, where you will stay up all night, like, reading Wikipedia about little, like, wormholes about certain things you're into. Or if you're into, like, true crime or something like that, you would listen to every podcast and know every little detail, and someone would be like, oh, I heard about this happening, and you'd be like, actually, it happened at 3:05 a.m. and these are all the details, and let me list off the different police reports. Like, I feel like you guys just get really into certain subjects, and it's like you have this kind of giddy young enthusiasm where you just your eyes light up. And I feel like people find that very sexy, very charming. The look in your eyes when you get enthusiastic about something, I'm hearing it almost is like a little kid, that a little kid who, like, finds out they're getting ice cream or something, where you could be jumping up and down, like, not literally, but like energetically speaking, you're jumping up and down with joy. And people love that. Like, your enthusiasm is infectious when you guys are into something. And I feel like something that a lot of people pick up on is that you guys are that type of person that's just very loyal towards your partner, and you kind of will protect them, will defend them. You won't talk to anyone else. You won't even be interested in being around someone else. Like, you're just very into your partner. You're very into that person, and people pick up on this vibe. They know that if they have that status in your life, that you're going to do everything for them. You're going to be loyal to them. And really, some of you guys might be that person that's very picky about who you are romantically involved with or sexually involved with, where you're not gonna, like, be making out with anyone or just going wild all the time. I feel like some of you guys might even be homebodies, or if you do go out, like, you're just really focused on your partner. You're not going to be talking to everyone at the club, you know? So when you do have that partner, I feel like a lot of people, they find that very attractive. They find that to be sexy because they know that it's going to mean something when they get in the bedroom with you, and it just really invigorates them. Like, oh, I'm the one. This means something to them. There's something special. There's some energy here. It's not just like another no big deal moment for them. So yeah, and I feel like people imagine you to be quite giving in the bedroom. I don't necessarily want to, like, go into the details. That's probably saved for my extended reading up on my Patreon, which is posted now while you're watching this. You can watch that at the end of this if you liked this reading. But I do feel like you guys would be quite giving in the bedroom. Can't talk too much about it on here, but let's get some astro dice and figure out more of the energies for pile 2. So we got the 9th house, Scorpio, and we got the nodes. Wow. So a lot of powerful energy coming through here. With Scorpio, like I said, a lot of you guys are very devoted, and there is strong psychic energy coming through this pile. So I could also see some Cancer energy and some Pisces energy, but I do feel you guys are quite intuitive with your partner, and there's something about you that's very just loving and giving and nurturing that I feel like people actually find very sexy. I feel like, you know how sometimes, like, the sexiest man alive, with People magazine, they don't go with just like the young hot model or whatever. They often go with like dads or like celebrity men who are kind of seem like a relationship type of material. Like they don't go with just like the young rock stars. They usually go with like a 35-year-old, 40-year-old man, and a lot of times he's married, because there's something about that that's very attractive, right? When you know someone can commit, when you know someone is genuinely looking for that one-on-one connection, and they're not just playing the field. And I feel like I'm hearing good girl in my mind. So whether you're a guy or a girl, you give off that good girl energy. And I do feel like some people want to kind of corrupt you, which is that Scorpio energy as well. But Scorpio is really about devotion. The eighth house is really about connection with another person, sharing things with another person. So I just feel like you come off that way really strongly. Then we also have the ninth house, which is Sagittarius and also Jupiter. So with Jupiter, I'm getting that some of you guys are just very pleasant. Like I feel like you guys would have very interesting things to talk about. And again, I'm seeing funny, quirky vibes. Like I'm seeing some of you guys are kind of giggling or laughing, and there's just something very cute about you. There's something very charming and like pleasing about like the way your mouth moves and your smile and your laugh. I'm getting some of you guys are kind of goofy or quirky about certain things, and I think that's something these people also find very sexy. Kind of like you're not sexy in an outwardly sexy way. Like you're not going to be that person that's going to show up to a party dressed in like leather head to toe and all in black and like being really just looking like a sex bomb. Like you're probably going to look kind of demure, but there's something very attractive about that. Like even if you're just wearing like a kind of demure outfit with like a skirt and a top, there's something about it that just brings people's imaginations and makes people start imagining things. And it's kind of more attractive that you're not showing everything, that they have to kind of wonder like, oh, what's underneath that? Or what else do they have going on? Or, oh, they seem so wholesome. So I wonder what they're like behind closed doors, again, with that one-on-one relationship, because I do feel like you seem so loyal. Like you're only letting that side of you out when you're with a partner. So yeah, I feel like it's almost like because you guys are demure, that people's just imaginations run wild and they want to know what you're kind of hiding and what only your partner gets to see. And I do feel like people find that very sexy, and they might imagine getting to be that one where you're in a relationship with them and that you would be very loving in that context. And there's something very gentle about you guys and very sweet that I feel like they like. Like I'm seeing someone's hand movements and it's very gentle and very soft. So I don't know if you have kind of gentle hands or something, but I do feel like that's something sexy that people think about. Also that you guys are a lot of fun. I'm seeing amusement parks. Maybe some of you guys are into amusement parks or Disney or something like that, but there's something kind of youthful and almost childlike about you. But when you get excited or into something, I feel like you just get so excited, like your eyes are wide, you're just so invigorated, and you could get very like excitable, and you might have a lot of wide interests because that is kind of Jupiter energy. And so I feel like people do find that sexy, like the look in your eyes when you're really into something. The way I'm seeing someone kind of like jumping up and down, I do feel like that's something they actually find sexy, even though you might be like, what's sexy about that? But they do find it attractive. And with the nodes, that's an interesting one. That's kind of about destiny. So again, I'm getting more of that vibe where, again, people want that one-on-one soulmate type of connection, and they feel like you guys would be really good at that. Let's get some additional cards for pile 2. So we got toadstools, growth, owl spirit, wisdom, ancient oak spirit, strength, and enchanted fern grotto, refuge. So people feel like being in a relationship with you would be like being in a refuge, or you would be their refuge. You would be their strength. They could come to you. And I do feel like even though you guys are very sweet and soft, there is a strong side to you. There's a feistiness where you will fight for the people you love very strongly. You guys will have this soft side, but like when you are feeling like your relationship is threatened, or when you feel like someone you love is being hurt, you guys would fight tooth and nail. You are so loyal to your core. And again, I feel like people just find that very attractive. Like wow, this person actually really cares about the people they love. They're so protective and they would make a great partner. And I do feel like people might have fantasies about starting a family with you. So I can't get too into that, but you can fill in the blanks, or you can watch my Patreon where I'll go into this more extended. And yeah, because this is a little like a little too risque for YouTube, but I do feel like you guys definitely, people find this quality of yours, this kind of loyal, devoted quality, very attractive in a multitude of ways. Let me get some other characteristics for pile two. Let's get some physical and emotional characteristics. So we got energy, figure, okay? And you guys definitely have a lot of energy. You guys actually might be very energetic. And you might even seem like someone like, do they need coffee? Because they just naturally have a lot of energy. Your nose, your lips. I'm seeing someone with a very cute face. So cheeks, that makes perfect sense. Like maybe you might have prominent cheeks or a button nose. And with height, I was going to name also, and hands. As I said, you have very attractive hands, the way you move your hands. And finally, personality. So I feel like, again, I'm gonna just keep getting cute. So I'm seeing a button nose and like prominent cheeks. So you might have something very cute about your nose, just about the shape of it, or about your cheeks. Your cheeks might be quite prominent. I'm seeing someone with prominent cheeks. So I feel like there's something perpetually youthful about you guys as well, that you look younger than your age. And people also find that charming, and not just with your physical appearance, although that is the case as well, but also your vibe and your energy comes off as young and comes off as always excitable. Like you're not going to be that person that's like bored and just like, oh, whatever. Yeah, it's fine. You're going to be like, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is amazing. I'm so happy. And so almost like being around you makes people feel young. Some of you guys might attract older partners that kind of want to take care of you and kind of want to look after you, because you do have a youthful quality to you. And I feel like that makes people feel young again. That makes them feel like they are like excited again. Maybe it's been a while and they were feeling kind of jaded, but when they're around you and they see that look on your face and the smile in your eyes and how happy you are, it makes them feel the same way. It makes them feel like it's their first time or something like that, you know? Maybe they were feeling a little tired, bored, jaded, but then they see the look in your eyes and suddenly they're excited again. And I do feel like some of you guys, especially my feminines, might be a little on the shorter side. And I feel like people find that cute, almost like, oh, I could just pick them up and they're so tiny and cute and I just want to put them in my pocket or something like that. But whatever your size, I just feel like there's a very unifying cuteness about you, and just I'm hearing adorable. And just you kind of bring out that soft side from people who might even usually be kind of tough and stoic. But with you, they're just like, oh, but they're so cute. Okay, I'm going to open up to them a little bit. So I feel like you guys can bring anyone out of their shell. And also that's something people find sexy, is like the power you have to get people to open up, to get people to really show a different side of themselves. So even people who, you know, might not have at first even been thinking of romantic stuff, like I feel like you're that person that could take an old man who's very closed off and hasn't talked to anyone in years and suddenly get him pouring his heart out. And so people are just like, wow, that's amazing. And that's pretty sexy, because again, there's something very sweet and emotional that I feel like turns into like, wow, they'd be great in a relationship, and also sexy in the sense of just like you being so nurturing and giving and loving, and in the bedroom, how that will like correlate into things. So let me get some songs for pile two. Let me get some songs for pile two's vibe. So we got Yummy, Justin Bieber, okay. No One's Gonna Love You, Band of Horses. Cardigan, Taylor Swift. Maybe some of you guys wear sweaters, because I could see that with being that kind of demure look that I'm seeing. Bluebeard, Band of Horses, and Party, Beyonce, featuring Andre 3000. Waiting in Vain, Bob Marley. And this one just fell out. So Wildflower, Beach House. And you guys have a flowery kind of vibe. Like you might be artistic, or just seem like a wildflower, like someone who's kind of unconventional, someone who doesn't just fit inside the lines. Like I feel like there's something kind of like you march to the beat of your own drum. You kind of have stayed in touch with that childlike enthusiasm where you're not just going to be like disciplined and go along with the crowd and go along with like, well, I have to be at a 9 to 5 and I have to like shut up and be very like boring. You might obviously still have a 9 to 5 job, but it still seems like you are doing your own interests, you're paying attention to your own heart, and you're really in touch with that side of yourself. So yeah, I feel like they do find if you do dress demurely that's a very attractive part of you. And I do also think that you guys can be the life of the party. And with your friend group, I feel like they really get turned on by the way you are with your friends and with your family. Again, this loyalty, again, this enthusiasm, this happiness. A lot of you guys are very happy and have a naturally high energy level where, like I said, you might seem like you don't need to drink any coffee, or like, have you had like 5 cups of coffee? Because you're just so happy-go-lucky. You're just so into everything and just always smiling and always open. And so people are very like invigorated by that. Let's get more cards. So we got the Lady of Lightning, surprises, sometimes shock, total paradigm shift. The Web Weaver, synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect. Gaia's Garden, fruition, abundance, reaping what you sow. And the Hawk Prince, spirit communication, paying attention. So some of you guys might be kind of almost like a little bit of a hippie vibe, I feel. Or like you would have been into like the hippie movement in the 60s or whatever. You might be into kind of cool music. We did get like Bob Marley, Waiting in Vain. So maybe you're into kind of like chill, almost borderline psychedelic type of music. Like, you know, really relaxed stuff, like maybe like the Grateful Dead or the Beatles, or the Beatles when they were doing more of their psychedelic stuff. So I feel like you guys have cool taste in things. I feel like you guys are into stuff that not everyone is into. I'm seeing someone wearing tie-dye actually. So like I said, kind of this combination between youthful, but also having a really intelligent, cool idea of things, being highly intelligent and able to process it. So like I said, if you're into a certain podcast, you would know all the details about it. Or if you're into a certain band, you've listened to every single song, from even the deep cuts from like the record, you know, that people are like, how do you know that song? Wait, you're way too young to know about that, or something. And so I feel like you take people by surprise. Some of you guys actually might like enjoy pranking people, or enjoy like just surprising people and kind of running up on them. And see, there's something so playful and youthful about you guys that I think people truly are just so drawn to. Like I can't emphasize that enough, and I don't want to repeat myself, but I just think that quality of yours where you're very kind of young at heart, I just think people love that side of you, and they want to kind of be the one to, not to be weird, but to kind of corrupt you. You guys are just a lot of fun, and people really find that to be attractive about you, that you can laugh, you can have a great time with your friends. I feel like a lot of you guys might have a big circle of friends, and being with you is just very joyful. Honestly, you have a lot of sun energy going on. I could see there being some Leo energy, as well as the watery energy we picked up on, and also Virgo. Like I feel like you guys are kind of caretakers for those around you. A lot of people rely on you. A lot of people know they can trust you and open up to you. I want to spin the Astro Dice again and see if there's other energies at play. So we got Aries, we got Uranus, and we got the 9th house again. Wow, so much Sagittarius energy. So yeah, there is a feistiness and an unconventionality about you with that Uranus, which again, I feel like you would really take people by surprise. I think what's coming through with that is that a lot of people might imagine that you have a very different side. Like on one hand, you are this very demure, soft person on the outside, but you know, when you're one-on-one with your partner, you are a little bit different. Like, you know, maybe lady in the streets, freaking the sheets kind of vibes. So maybe you kind of become a lot more wand energy, and you become a lot more fiery and a lot more sexy when you're having that one-on-one time. And maybe people can tell from your energy, your feistiness, because I do feel like when you guys care about a certain subject, you could like go on about it all day long. And maybe usually you're pretty chill, you're pretty relaxed, but someone brings up like your favorite band or your favorite subject, and suddenly you're talking a mile a minute. You could go on and on and on. And so I think the same thing happens in the bedroom. Like maybe you're chilled out, you're kind of excited, happy, like relaxed, but then you get the bedroom time with your partner, and suddenly you're in a totally different energy, and you might suddenly become really take charge or something like that. But I feel like people just imagine that you have this hidden side, and they kind of like that it's hidden, because they like that they'll be the only one who gets to see that, and that it's kind of this hidden treasure that only they get access to. So it feels like a bit of a privilege. But definitely I feel like people imagine, because you come off as very innocent and very youthful, like, oh, what are they like when you get into the bedroom? What is that different side to them? That kind of a thing. So let's get more cards. So we got the Rainbow Reviver, the Garden, Self-Respect, and Worthiness. People find you very attractive, period. Just physically speaking, they find you very beautiful, very attractive. Something about your skin tone as well is very pretty to them. I'm hearing peachy, so there's something kind of peachy about you guys. I also feel like some of you guys have a very feminine figure. For my feminines, where you might have curves in all the right places. And for my masculines, I'm hearing some of you guys have a good amount of muscle that they find very attractive and very strong, like almost like sturdy type build. Someone who is like built strong, like just strong bones, and it just looks like they would take a lot to kind of topple them over, kind of a thing. And so there's almost like a little bit of like heft to you guys, not in a weird way, but just like I feel like you look strong, you look like someone who is kind of like not, I know this might sound weird, but like well fed when they were growing up, not meaning that in any kind of a bad way. I just feel like you look strong and healthy, you know what I mean? And you look like someone who would make that great partner long term, who is like someone they could trust, be with for longevity. Like you're not going to be like a weak kind of body temperament, if that makes sense. Like you're going to have that strong constitution and be in good health for a really long time. I hope that makes sense how I'm saying it. But yeah, I feel like people just feel like talking to you is kind of a relief to them. Like when they're stressed out, when they're worried, when they've been through a lot, they know they can go turn to you, and that you're going to soothe them and make them feel better, and that you are going to be so sweet and loving and kind and nurturing to the people you really care about. Like you would do anything for the ones you love. You're very sweet and open and just loyal to the people that you care about. So they kind of know that like if anything is going on in their life, or if they're stressed out about something, that they can turn to you. And I do feel like that's a turn on for a lot of people. People might feel misunderstood going through their day, or they might feel like they really don't have anyone that they can fully open up to. And I feel like you're that person for a lot of people. And then it kind of turns into romantic feelings. Like maybe they kind of they weren't thinking that it was going to start that way, but then the more they get to know you, the more they're like, wow, I can open up to them about anything. I know I can trust them, and their feelings start really developing towards you, and seeing you as cute starts turning into like, but they do have this different side where I've seen them go into like protective mode for the people they care about. And I wonder how that is in the bedroom. I bet they're a lot feistier behind closed doors. So yeah, people are loving your cute side, your sweetness. They find that very sexy, very attractive. And I do feel like they love the fact that behind closed doors, you turn into something else, that you are someone who's very devoted to the people you love, that you're someone who's super loyal, super protective of everyone around you. And I just feel like you guys are relationship type of material. Like also, you guys are a lot of fun. And again, with your friend group. I feel like some of you guys have a really large friend group, or you're just like the class clown type of energy where you're very fun to be around. You're very talkative. You're very like entertaining to have a conversation with. And so I feel like people just kind of can let their guard down around you. Whereas at first, maybe they are feeling a little closed off, or they're just kind of like down in the dumps, but talking to you, it's like, huh, like, okay, this person understands me. You guys might have had a lot of people catching feelings for you where you've had to give them like the talk of like, by the way, I only see you as a friend, or like, I'm sorry because I know you have feelings for me. Whereas, you know, where other piles might just have a sexy vibe where people are like, I'm down for a one night stand. I'm down for just hit it and quit it. You, I feel like, attract people that want that full relationship with you, that want long term, that want that destiny moment with you with the North Node there. So they are wanting something that like goes on forever. So it's not just a temporary sexiness. It's like a very deep level of sexiness that I feel like goes into long term relationship, getting married, maybe even, like I said, having kids. And you might have to have people coming to you and you talking them down where like they think they're in love with you and they think you guys are soulmates. And you're like, sorry, I only see you as a friend. Because I feel like you guys break people's hearts in that way. You're not trying to do that. You're not trying to like be this sexy heartbreaker that's, you know, wreaking havoc on people, but you just naturally, because you're very loving, giving, a lot of you guys have a very sexy laugh and smile. It's very bright and open, and also very full of life. Like, I'm seeing images from like Fellini, I guess, movies. So it feels like you're just that person that if you have some ice cream or something, you're going to really taste it. You're not just going to like have a couple bites and then throw it away and then be like, well, I'm watching my figure. Like, you're going to be really into the full ice cream. And I feel like that energy, that passion, there's like a sensuality there, you know? That's why we call it sensual. Sensual is the senses. So it feels like you're very in touch with your senses. You're very in touch with what makes you feel good and what you enjoy. And I feel like people find that sexy. There's an earthy quality to you. You're not just like head in the clouds thinking about things from an intellectual perspective. I feel like you guys really do experience things. You stay rooted in your physical body. And so, like I said, if you like some food, or there's something about you guys, the way you eat food as well. And also that you guys would be that person that would probably like just eat the pasta and not be overthinking it, or you come off that way. Like, you're not someone that is too in your head and overly intellectualizing something. Like, you're very still in touch with like, this makes me feel good. I like this. I get enjoyment from that. So I'm going to do it. You're not going to like go back and forth in your head a million times and overthink and make a situation weird. You're just going to be fun to be around, and people are going to be like, oh, it's so easy to hang out with them. So yeah, there's a very down to earth, salt of the earth quality to you guys. And overall, I just think a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people will fall in love with you. A lot of people will imagine you as their partner and would have kind of fantasies about just having that one-on-one type of romantic relationship, not just hitting it once and hitting it and quitting it, but getting to see you over the long term and really getting to get that soul deep connection with you guys. But they do find you very sexy, but it's almost in a way of like a long-term relationship or like a husband-wife type of thing. Like, I just think they wouldn't want to let you go. Because you seem like you're so nurturing, loving, and supportive that a lot of people feel like you're the only one who understands them, the only one they can turn to, and they get a lot of emotional support out of your connection. So I really hope that resonated. Pile 2, let me know if it did in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. And if this reading resonated, you can check out the extended version on my Patreon, where I'm going to post more details about this pile that I couldn't get into on YouTube. So definitely check that out. Link is in my description description for that. For my Patreon, I also have a ton of other readings over there. So there's a lot of great things to choose from. So check it out, you guys, and make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up, hit the like button, and make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you can find out as soon as I post. I'm sending you guys so much love and light, and I'll be back very soon for another reading. So I will see you guys then. Take care. Bye. Hey, pile 3. So if you guys picked this pink pudding, this is going to be your reading. So there's a little cookie on top. It kind of looks like an Oreo, a dollop of whipped cream, and a waffle cone, and a little orange slice right here. There's a little pink drizzle, which is probably some kind of berry, maybe raspberry or strawberry, and it's nice and soft and squishy, so it really does look like a pudding. It looks super good and like something you could just buy in a pastry shop or serve at a nice dinner. But let's get into your cards. So we did get the Ace of Wands, the Six of Wands, the Page of Wands, Seven of Cups, the Lovers, and the Judgment card. So I can see that you guys are really powerful, coming through with a very strong energy, and a lot of people I feel are kind of intimidated from you guys. I don't know what it is, but it seems like all eyes are on you. Maybe when you go out to a party and stuff, your outfit is on point, your vibe is on point, and the final card you got, by the way, is the 10 of Pentacles. But your vibe is on point, but I feel like a lot of people see you as hard to get. Like, they would like to get to know you, but there's a little bit of intimidation. Like, I do feel like your outfits would be on point, but not just that. I feel like also you guys are coming across as highly intelligent and a little bit discriminating with who you hang out with. And by that, I mean, like, you're not just open to anyone. You're not just desperately searching for a friend or a relationship and you'll talk to anyone. It feels like you guys have a little bit of a wall up with the world until someone really gets to know you. You might have a Capricorn, Scorpio, Aquarius, Ascendant, or some kind of like a little bit of a distance. Like, you're not trying to be super friendly to everyone and get to know everyone and become besties with everyone. It feels like you guys really are kind of like careful and cautious with letting people in and how many people you let in. And you're not just desperately searching for someone to talk to or to make someone like you. It feels like you're more the vibe where you're hoping you like them. You're checking to see, do I like them? What do I think of them? And so I do feel like a lot of people are intimidated by you. It's like they want to get on your good side. They want to be in your good opinion, but they're very nervous about that. Some of you guys might have a little bit of an intimidating face, like resting witch face, you know, RBF, where maybe you look a little stony at first, or you're not going to be, like I said, grinning and smiling and just hoping everyone likes you. Like, you're a little bit of an ice queen in that sense. And I do feel like people might even be afraid that you're going to call them out or something like that, but they find all of this very sexy, very attractive. Like, talking to you is like, getting your approval is like a big deal, because some of you guys also might have an on-point social media or some kind of social media platform, or it's just the vibe where so many people do pay attention to you. So many people do notice you and are kind of watching you when you walk into the room, when you walk into the party. People are all eyes on you. People are focused on what you guys have going on. I do feel like you guys are just very physically attractive, but it's also your vibe and your energy, and kind of like, not a bad boy type of vibe, but a little bit where, or a bad girl where, like, okay, this person looks like, not that they've been around the block, but like they've lived life, and like they aren't afraid to get in like a fight or something like that. Like, they're not afraid to call someone out, or they're not afraid to like live on the wild side a little bit. And I feel like a lot of people, like, they're very kind of turned on by that at the same time as being a little bit scared. So many people are just really intrigued and curious about you guys. I feel like if you were a character in like a movie, you would be like that bad boy in the corner wearing like a leather jacket and like sneering at everyone and like glaring at everyone, and everyone's intimidated by them. I'm not saying y'all glare at people, but just like there's something very intimidating. There's something that people feel intimidated to approach you, and they want to get to know you, but there's a lot of mystery here as well that I'm picking up on. Like, I feel like a lot of people, they might be aware of you on some some level. For this, for some of you guys, it might be your social media, or just that you're that type of person that all heads turn when you enter a room. But there's a lot of people that feel like they don't know you, even though they might know you, or they might have had a conversation with you, but they're still really curious, or they have a million questions they want to ask. And like, I don't feel like you guys give a lot away. I feel like you play a lot of stuff close to the vest for whatever reason. Like, if someone like asks you, what do, you might give like a very nondescript type of answer. You might just give a very generalized answer. Like, maybe you do a certain type of social media, but you say like, oh, I just do social media. And then they might ask more, and you're just like, oh, it doesn't matter, or something. Or maybe you work in like banking, but if someone asks you, you're just going to be like, oh, I do financial stuff. Like, you're not going to give everything away. And so I feel like people are very intrigued and they find that very sexy. Honestly, I'm getting a very Plutonian Scorpionic vibe from this pile. And Pluto and Scorpio do rule sexuality as well as mystery. So those things are very interlinked. So I do feel like people find this very sexy, very sexually alluring. Like, the fact that they can't know you, the fact that there is some mystery here, it just makes them more determined to kind of scale up those walls and find out more about you guys. Some of you guys also give off kind of a hidden occulty vibe, where maybe you do tarot or stuff like that, but it's kind of like witchy type energy, hidden energy, kind of that feminine energy that has to do with mystery and like the moon, like hidden stuff, that kind of a thing. Speaking of the moon, let's get some astrological dice going and find out the astrological energy for pile 3. So we got Sagittarius, Venus, and the second house. So that wealth energy is definitely coming in strong with Venus and the second house. So that could be Taurus. Some of you guys could be Taurus vibes, and we did get a lot of that abundance energy with the 10 of Pentacles. So again, people just assume you guys are kind of expensive, that you guys have, I don't know, a lot of wealth at your disposal, or maybe that you grew up with a lot of wealth and there's something kind of fancy about you guys. I do feel like there's this strong energy where people want your approval. Like, almost like people fantasize about, getting your approval in bed a little bit. Like, I can't get too into it, but, maybe like doing things that would really impress you in bed. I can't talk too much about it, but I am going to go more into it on my Patreon, where I have my extended reading for this. So if you guys want to find out more about this energy, that we can't see on YouTube, definitely check out my Patreon, link in bio for that. But yeah, I do feel like a lot of people do fantasize about you guys. I mean, we did get the Ace of Wands. So there's a lot of people thinking about you during their alone time, kind of wondering about you, fantasizing about you, and all of that. A lot of people are very entranced by you, and I feel like they're just very curious. That's a big thing. And again, getting your opinion and your approval would be a big deal, because you don't just give it away freely. You're not just one of those people that's like, oh, I like everyone, I get along with everyone. I feel like you guys are kind of like, you see things very clearly. You see through someone, and you see to the heart of them. You're not just someone who takes someone at face value, and if they're like, oh no, I'm cool or whatever, you're gonna believe them. You might ask them like 20 questions, or you might be like, oh, okay, so where do you work? Okay, so how do you know this person? So why are you at this party? Or like, I'm not saying you would be like really rude, but I just feel like you would be that person that at first, you're a little distrustful, or you're a little bit closed off, but I think this just makes people want to get to know you even more. And I also feel like a lot of you guys are super loyal to your crew. Like, once you are linked with someone, you are that ride or die type of energy that you would do anything for them. And you would literally, like, I feel like, just fight for everyone in your circle and be like a tiger for them. Like, you guys would absolutely stand up. You're not afraid. You're not desperate for people's approval. So you don't mind saying the unpopular opinion, or going against the crowd, or standing up for someone you love, even if people are going to turn against you. Like, that, you're 100% okay with that, not even a thought given. And also with the Sagittarius energy, I do feel like a lot of you guys are highly intelligent, highly knowledgeable about different subjects. And almost like you guys might be lucky and kind of always land on your feet. Like, you might have situations where people are just like, wow, I can't believe they withstood that. they've gotten through so much, or like they're just so powerful. Like they just accumulate wealth or money, or just things come to them easily. I feel like people can see that kind of success energy on you because we did get Venus and then Jupiter. So that's a lot of wealth, abundance energy. Let me spin the astro dice one more time and see what else is going to come up. We got Scorpio. I knew we'd get Scorpio, 7th house, and the nodes. So wow, a lot of Venus energy. A lot of you guys are really beautiful, like just physically very beautiful. I do feel like a lot of you guys have heads turn when you walk into the room, which is maybe why you guys are so private, because it's kind of like that vibe where like celebrities who always get stared at, they'll start walking around with like sunglasses on and a hat on and like trying to cover up. And I feel like, you know, sometimes when someone like attracts a lot of energy or a lot of attention in life, they will start trying to kind of hide themselves. And maybe that's your vibe, where people are like, they kind of look like a celebrity or they act like a celebrity, even if they're not one, just because they are so standoffish and they just seem like they're not trying to get attention. In a world where like everyone seems like they're trying to get attention, they feel like they're completely good with no attention. In fact, they prefer that. So again, I think people really admire this inner strength you have, where you're very self-reliant, you're very focused on yourself and like your own energy. And I think that gives you a sexiness. Like you're not desperate, you're not wanting someone to come along and validate you. I feel like a lot of you guys have already done the inner shadow work and it exudes out. So like I feel like a lot of people who might not have done that work might flock to you. And maybe that's also why you're a little protective, is like, it feels to me like you guys have a very bright light, like kind of a beacon energy. And I feel like you're kind of a magnet for people, for good or bad. And so I think that's why some of you guys are protective. But people can see your power, that you guys have this strong amount of power exuding from you, and they want to be close to it. They want to be a part of it somehow, even if they don't necessarily, I feel like, even if it is hard for them, or they're intimidated at first, or they don't know how to approach you, they want to really badly. They want to be able to be let into your inner circle. They want to know what you guys have going on. And I also just feel like you guys give off a sexy vibe in general. With this strong Venus energy, you're probably quite good at flirting and having alluring eyes and kind of giving someone that signal. Like I feel like people just know that you're kind of good in bed. We did get that Scorpio energy, which I knew you guys were exuding. And Scorpio, I feel like, is very private. That's a major thing with Scorpio, but also has that sexuality underneath. And that's why it rules sexuality and privacy, is because those are kind of one and the same. That's why sex is usually a big deal, is because for most of human history, that was like a very private thing you would only do with one person your whole life. So it's like this big privilege to get to sleep with them. And so I feel like, yeah, you guys have this very innate sexuality. Like you don't need to manufacture it. You don't need to try to be sexy. You just are sexy. You just walk into a room and boom, it exudes from you. And you guys might dress in a lot of black or wear a lot of black or kind of dark colors, because I'm just getting like kind of a witchy energy. Like, and I think people find you very mysterious. Some of you guys might have tattoos and stuff, but I think a lot of people are very intrigued by you. I think a lot of people, or they might assume you have tattoos, even if you're like, oh, no tattoos. Like, I feel like they would be like, oh, I bet they have a hidden tattoo or something like that. So let me get some more cards for you guys. So we got Phoenix, Transmutation, Rainbow Waterfall, Miracles, Earth Spirit, Stability, and Standing Stones, Passage. So there's a lot of this kind of rebirth energy, which is an archetype of Scorpio, the Phoenix. And so I feel like a lot of you guys might have been through some tough stuff, or you just give off that vibe. People might even assume like, oh, you've been through some heartbreak, because that's why she's closed off, is because like she's had her heart broken. But they're very intrigued by that. They're not turned off by it, but they're just like intrigued. They want to know more. But I'm not even thinking that's the case for all of you guys. I think you're just naturally, you might have been through some other stuff like in life, and you're just not like thinking the world is like sunshine and rainbows and bubblegum and, you know, fairy dust. Like, I feel like you guys are smart, you're intelligent, you're incisive. You guys are really good conversationalists too. And people are very turned on by your conversational topics and how quickly you can keep track. Like, I feel like you're never out of your depth in conversation. No matter what someone would bring up, you'd probably be like, oh, I know all about that subject. Or even if I don't know about that subject in particular, I can keep up I'm a quick learner, so I can figure it out and it's no problem, you know? Yeah, there's just a lot of intelligence that I think people perceive you as having, and also like being down to earth and having an ability with money. Like you guys are stable. You're not emotionally out of control. Like I feel like you guys feel like I said, you've kind of been around the block, you're more mature. And I feel like a lot of people might want to be in a relationship with you because they kind of look up to you in that sense. They might even perceive you as having the ability to heal them because you guys have done a lot of your own shadow work. So they're like, oh, they can heal me. And they kind of get turned on by the idea of this dynamic because they know that being with you would be like an overall glow up for them because you guys are so spiritually deep. And I feel like very psychic, very knowledgeable, and also would like inspire them to work harder. You'd push them a little bit because you push yourself that way. I want to get some song cards for pile 3. Let me get some song cards for pile 3. So we got Yummy, Justin Bieber, LDN, Lily Allen. Okay. Maybe some of you guys come off as British or you are British. I don't know. Diplomat, Sun, Vampire Weekend, Now That I Found You, Carly Rae Jepsen, There Is a Light That Never Goes Out, The Smiths, and The Only Exception, Paramore. And let's get one more. Lies, Marina and the Diamonds. Okay, so I do feel like with Diplomat Sun, that song is all about kind of a lost love. Maybe some of you guys had a lost love, and a lot of people kind of perceive that energy about you. Is like, I feel like when you guys love, you love very deeply and intensely. And you might have had access to a deeper soulmate type of love than a lot of people have had in this lifetime. Like they might have dreamt of having that kind of love. They might have read novels and books about it or seen movies about it, but they never actually experienced it. And I kind of feel like you guys carry this energetic marker or stamp on you of like, oh, I've been in really deep love. I've had this very intense connection with someone. I've had a soulmate type of relationship with someone. And maybe that is that heartbreak that I was saying that some people pick up on with you. But I do feel like a lot of you guys also have really cool taste in music. Like I feel like you have good taste in music, in clothes, and it's kind of unconventional. Like you wouldn't just be listening to whatever's on like top 40, although you might be into that as well. But you might be into some really cool old vintage bands and stuff like that. But almost like something like, I want to say nihilistic about some of the music you listen to, or maybe you're kind of into like, I don't know, something kind of, I want to say depressing, like punk or like lo-fi or something that is kind of not super like I said, like rah cheerleader type music, but kind of more like jaded type of kind of songs, you know what I mean? Yeah, I just feel like people think you're really cool, and probably you've had some cool relationship. Maybe that, like I was saying, you look like that person who's standing in the corner in a leather jacket, and now I see like Harleys. Maybe they think that you've dated a bad boy or you've been in those kinds of relationships. People might assume you're into, like, I don't know, even like a bad boy type subculture. And I don't mean to keep repeating the phrase bad boy, but I'm trying to not say anything too crazy, but I do feel like people think that you're into some kind of edgy behavior, or that you guys might have had a part in your lifetime when you were into that, or you dated someone who was into that, or you were into someone who maybe even broke the law or was doing illegal activities. You know what I mean? Where maybe you've like walked on the wild side is kind of the vibe. Like you are not just a 9 to 5, like always been inside the box, accountant type energy. Nothing wrong with that. Sorry that I keep always mentioning accountants in my videos. It's only because one of my best friends is an accountant. So it's always in my mind. But I just mean like, because you have to like really listen to the rules and stuff when you're an accountant. And you guys just don't feel like you are listening to the rules all the time, or that's the vibe that people are getting, and they're very attracted to that. So let's get some more cards. So we got the Metal King, Discipline, Boundaries, the Lady of the Gift, Generosity, receiving, withholding, the winged wise ones, angelic help, miraculous aid, the rainbow prince, compensation, perseverance, and the dragon's duel, inner conflict, morality, conscious choice. So again, I feel like people think they are very intimidated by you, and some people, and I can't talk too much about this, but they definitely get that kind of discipline. Like I feel like I feel like you guys just seem like a powerhouse, and you seem like someone who could almost discipline them, I guess. Like I said, you seem like a very dominant type energy. I can't talk too much about it on YouTube, because yeah. But again, it'll be in my Patreon. So if you want to see more, definitely check that out and I'll talk more about it there. But a lot of people see you as very powerful. And I think it's interesting that you guys have gotten more cards than everyone else. I kept the cards the same for everyone else, but you guys kept having 2 cards fly out at the last minute, which I think shows how potent your energy is and powerful, and kind of like you get what you want, or that's what people perceive you as. You come in with a lot of extra energy, whereas someone else, they might even be going all out to be noticed, but I feel like you guys just get noticed effortlessly. Like you just could show up and people are going to pay attention to you. Something about your eyes being very beautiful as well. Let me get some cards about your features. What kind of features do they find sexy about pile 3? So we got personality, cheeks, okay, figure, nose, and eyes. Okay, I definitely see your eyes being very attractive. And your bone structure, I'm getting music taste, yep, and voice. I knew you guys, music taste would come up. Face. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys are just physically very attractive, period, and very commanding, energetically speaking. But I think also you have cool interests, you have cool vibes. You just seem like you're not into the stuff that everyone else is into. You seem like you would be into like kind of underground things or different subcultures or kind of unconventional stuff that like maybe no one's ever heard of. Like if someone was like, what's your favorite band? You'd name some band that like no one else knew, and they were like, what's that? And you were like, oh, it's something, it's an indie band from like the 1970s that was big in like Sweden or something. And everyone's like, wow, okay, we definitely never heard of that one before. But yeah, I think a lot of people just assume that you have this kind of impressive like reservoir of knowledge that a lot of people might not have access to. And I think people find that a turn on. Like, yeah, I feel like there's something kind of aggressive and almost, I don't want to say androgynous, but almost a little bit in this pile where you kind of have a little tough exterior and then a softer bit on the inside. And I think a lot of people find you quite beautiful, but then they're also kind of intimidated by your masculine energy. I'm almost getting like a Kristen Stewart vibe for some of you guys. Yeah, where like there's a magnetism, but then there's also kind of a standoffishness. So yeah, so we also got serendipity, sexual freedom, boundaries, and the silver waterfall. So again, with the boundaries and the discipline, that's a big thing that I feel like people fantasize about you, is maybe like you disciplining them or something. I can't talk too much about it, but I just think people find it very sexy that you don't suffer any fools, that you like, and I think you guys just really might be kind of, you don't work to make conversations work. Like you'd be that person that like, if it's an awkward silence, you're just okay with sitting there and just being like, uh-huh. Okay, like you're not going to try to tell a bunch of jokes to like make them happy or like smooth things over. You're just going to be like, okay, so it's awkward, whatever, I don't care. Like there's so much inner strength that I just feel like a lot of people are very intimidated by you, and they assume that you're really good in bed and that you've had a lot of experience with that. And that some of you guys might even be into something unconventional or something like that. But I think a lot of people think that you are experienced in that realm, or that you just be innately good. We are getting that Scorpio energy. And so, Scorpios are those masters of that realm. So I feel like a lot of people just assume you'd be amazing in the bedroom. You'd know exactly what to do. You would have kind of high standards for your partners, and you would also live up to that yourself, where you would have a lot of amazing skills. And I'm getting something about your hair. Some of you guys have very beautiful hair and just a vibe and an energy to you that's elusive. Like I'm seeing water slipping through someone's hands. Like if someone, you might even seem like non-committal, like you are commitment phobic at times, or like you just haven't dated someone in a long time and people are like, okay, when are they going to date, or why are they okay with being alone, or okay, like how long has it been, or are they hiding a secret relationship? But it just feels like you don't really care about the validation of others, and because of that I feel like you guys are kind of, I want to say, dangerous or like a threat, because you're not out there desperately hoping to get someone's approval or to make everyone like you. You're just like fully standing in your truth. And so I feel like a lot of people are kind of shocked by that, but then they're also very turned on by it. They're also very attracted to it. They find it very sexy, but they don't know if they can live up to it. They don't know if they have the strength to kind of hang with you, or if you would be like, this person's lame, they got to go, you know? Like I'm also seeing Firuza Balk from, I think that's how you say her name, from The Craft and like other films she's been in. And you know how she's like, I think she's such a Scorpio energy. I don't know her chart, but like she just seems intimidating. She just seems like she does not care what you think of her. And like also like she kind of has a lot of knowledge and a lot of hidden knowledge and stuff. So I feel like you guys just give off that vibe for sure. And I do think people find this very sexy. I do think a lot of people are attracted to you guys and just wanting to know more, very intrigued by you guys, curious, wishing they could find out more, wishing with this serendipity card that you guys would like randomly run into each other and that they could talk to you and that they could get to know you more and that you would, you know, be like randomly open that day and wanting to like fill them in. Because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of questions, like a lot, like 20 questions they would ask you guys. And I also feel like you give off the vibe that you're actually quite, no, I don't want to say sweet, but you're very nurturing to the people that you're close to. Like, even though you're icy to those you don't know, that you would be that ride or die absolutely for the people that you are close to. You would like do anything for them. I'm also seeing Jess from Gilmore Girls. I kept seeing him in my mind throughout this reading. So I also feel like that's the vibe, like someone who is smart, is into cool bands, is very like outside, I want to say the norm, but like, you know, emotional and loyal to those he cares about. And even though people might be like, oh my God, he's a bad boy, like he's actually so nice and kind when he cares. I don't know how many times I've said bad boy in this reading, but I think that's just your vibe. Like you guys, that's the best word I could use to describe you guys. You're not hoping for, you know, everyone to just love you, and you don't really care if someone doesn't like you. You guys are just such a mystery to so many people. You guys are just such a mystery to so many people. They wish they could know more about you. They wish they could, you know, have that excuse to run into you. And yeah, I think so many people find you guys very sexy, kind of that typical archetype of sexiness in terms of being a little bit of a mystery, a little bit hard to get, and a little bit of a, like I said, bad boy, saying the word again. But anyway, that's what I have for you guys, pile 3. So let me know how it resonated in the comments, and if it really resonated, you can also check out my Patreon where I'm going to go into these piles more. So the link is in my description for that if you want to see an extended reading for this pile. And if you guys like this reading, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well. Make sure you have notifications on so you find out as soon as I post. And that's about it. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. So take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 4. So if you guys picked this blue ice cream, this is going to be your reading. So there is a drizzle of blue on the top. It could be boysenberry or raspberry, something like that. There's also a little star fruit and a dollop of whipped cream and an almond drizzled in cream. There's also a little bit of waffle to dip into the ice cream, or it might be pudding as well. And it's soft and squishy, so definitely one of those softer desserts, but it looks absolutely delicious, like something you might get in a really nice bakery. Let's get into your card. So we got the Ace of Swords, High Priestess, Three of Swords, the Star, Two of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles. So a lot of powerful energy coming through with the Star and the High Priestess. I feel like you guys give off a vibe of the High Priestess, of someone who might be a little bit psychic. And honestly, a lot of you guys are intuitive in a very nurturing type of way. Like, I feel like a lot of people find it sexy that you guys seem very mature, that you guys seem very nurturing and sweet and loving, and like you can kind of see to their soul. Like, you guys might attract a lot of kind of, I want to say, lost souls, or people who have a lot of hardship in their life, and I feel like they see you as just incandescently beautiful. Like, you guys are just the star to them. You guys are just this kind of guiding light in the darkness that they can turn to. Like, they might feel understood for the first time by talking to you. Honestly, I'm getting the vibe that people just don't find you just sexy, but it's like they fall in love with you. They are overwhelmed by how beautiful you are and how nurturing and sweet and loving your energy is. And I feel like a large part of that is because you are the High Priestess, and you are not just the High Priestess in a kind of cold way, but you actually also are very sweet, nurturing, and giving to them. And you guys, I feel like, really try to work through and help the people that you come into contact with. And you might end up attracting people in Three of Swords energy who are going through a lot, who have had a lot of hardship, who are dealing with a lot of stuff, and might even be at kind of a crossroads in their life, or trying to plan their life out and needing some guidance. Because I do feel that your wisdom and stuff is kind of like this beacon or this lighthouse light in the ocean that they look to, and they just feel drawn and pulled to you, and they just know on a deep subconscious level that you can help them. And this is something that a lot of people notice about you guys. Another thing that's really coming through is that you guys are a very bright, energetic light. Like, when you enter into a party or are talking to someone, I feel like they're just blown away by the energy you exude. And honestly, there might be just a brightness with your face, or kind of a brightness with your energy, where I feel like you just seem to be higher energy than a lot of people. You might not even need to drink a lot of like coffee or substances like that, but it just feels like you're very invigorated with life. Like, you're very full of life and alive and awake, more so than the average person. Maybe you are just in a profession where you like love your job or something like that, but you just don't seem as burnt out and like jaded as the average person. And so I feel like a lot of people get invigorated by that. Like, it's almost like the way you live your life is a turn on for people, because you are so full of life and you enjoy your life. You're not just like counting the hours to like the weekend and you hate your schedule. It feels like you are full of passion. And some of you guys might have even moved around a lot, because we did get the Two of Wands, and I feel like you guys just aren't that type to settle for something that's not going to make you happy. You're not the type to settle for a life that's kind of half full, like, okay, technically I like this, but I hate that. I hate my boss. I hate where I live. Like, you're the type that if it's not working for you, you're on to the next. And I feel like because of that, people get that vibe with you. Like, they know you're not the one to settle. You know, they know you're not acting out of a framework of fear of like, oh, there's never going to be enough. I'm never going to be alone. I'm going to be fired from my job, so I have to work here. They know that you just seem like if it's not working for you, it's not working for you. And you are like, okay, I'm gone. I'm doing something else. I'm not sticking around with this. So I feel like you are hard to get a hold of. A lot of people would like to get to know you more, or would like to be able to have that access to you. But it feels like you're kind of slippery. Like, you're always on to the next. You're always trying something new. You're always focused on like, okay, what am I going to do in the future? And so because of that, I think a lot of people, they're very attracted to it. It's like you're hard to get, and you also have, I feel like, this accumulated wealth of experience that makes you really good in conversation. Like, I feel like you're just an interesting person to talk to, and that you know a lot of stuff. I feel like if you were at a party or something, like, you would just be making your rounds and like chatting with everyone, and you'd always have something interesting to say. Even if someone brought up some random subject, like, you would have some thoughts about it, or you would have some knowledge. You just seem like a really good conversationalist. So I feel like people are turned on by this. They do find it very sexy how you carry yourself, the level of confidence, and just the level of being in love with life. Because I think so many people just go through life kind of in like zombie mode, just like punching in the clock and then heading for the weekend, but you guys just feel like you're more alive than the average person. Like almost like you, when you taste food, you taste it more intensely than the average person, or you might be very like, you feel things very deeply kind of a vibe. And it just feels like you're much more alive and turned on and awake than the average normal person. And I feel like you have this presence where you invigorate people's lives a little bit, where like maybe they are just working for the weekend and they are very bored. But when you come around, they're like, I really need to make this change. And they might find themselves suddenly deciding that they're gonna like switch up their look, switch up their job, switch up a major aspect of their life after you come in. And I don't feel like you do that where you're like trying to like get someone to change their hair, but there's something about you that inspires people to kind of take risks because you guys live very boldly. You're not really afraid of what people think. And I think a lot of people, again, you inspire so much devotion. Like I feel like sometimes people might be like a little obsessed with you. We did get the star, and I feel like you kind of you attract people who are not just like, oh, that person's sexy, but they're like in love. Like they are like all in, like yes, they find you sexy, but it's not even just that. It's like it's so much more than that. And I feel like for some of you guys, you might like that might be almost something that like bothers you, or you're just like, I was not trying to give off that vibe. I was not trying to make you fall in love. You might actually be causing a lot of these Three of Swords moments for other people, where maybe like you're just talking to someone and just trying to get to know them, but they suddenly are like imagining like marrying you, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, hold on, rewind. I was just being friendly. They might even be offended. You might have offended people because like you're at a party, you're chatting with them for like a few minutes, and then, you know, the conversation ends and you move on to the next. You're talking to a bunch of people and they're like, wait a minute, I thought we had like a deep soul connection. I never had a conversation with someone like that. And so I feel like you guys stay being very elusive and hard to get, and people wish they could kind of pin you down and like actually really get that full access to you and get your full attention. But it's kind of like you have a lot of friends, or you keep a lot of people in your kind of outer circle where like, yes, you're talking to them and you're nice and you're friendly, but you're not like, I want to like settle down with you. And honestly, I feel like a lot of you guys probably do move around a lot, or you're just always onto the new, now, next. You're not trying to like completely open yourself up and just lock yourself in forever. I feel like a lot of you guys, you might even, some people might accuse you of having like a fear of commitment or something, because it just seems like, yeah, you're not about that kind of settling type of life. Let me get some astro dice for pile 4 to figure out the astrological energies at play. So we got the 6th house, Virgo. We got Virgo again. Wow. And we got Saturn. That's really interesting. Okay. So earth signs coming in really strong. So with the 6th house, that can be the house of a lot of different things. Your work schedule also, you know, Virgo is like a healing energy. And that's kind of what's coming to mind for you guys, is you give off like a healer type vibe, as I mentioned at the beginning, where you might find you attract those broken bird types who, you know, haven't been feeling good, or who have been upset, who might be dealing with a lot of heartbreak in their lives, and just going through it. Saturn could apply here as well. And you kind of help transform them, help them wake up and realize like what they could change in their life, or what they need to fix, or kind of even like, you might be like tough love, like buck up, and like life is short, and yeah, things are painful, but you got to move on. I just feel like you guys are good at kind of shelling out those lessons, and you guys might have been through some of those hard lessons yourself, but you always kept your kind of childish enthusiasm and your positivity and stuff. You guys might also be an earth sign. You might or have prominent earth in your chart, so prominent Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo in your charts. But I just feel like a lot of you guys have a certain resilience. You've been through it, but you stay being optimistic, happy-go-lucky, positive. You're not going to let the world gets you down. I also feel like you guys are very smart and intelligent and very brilliant in conversation. Like you always have something very interesting to say, something to contribute to a conversation. You're never going to let the conversation just run dry. Like you always have some kind of brilliant insight, brilliant way of looking at things. And we do have a lot of Virgo energy, and Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication. I feel like you guys are good communicators, and Virgos are great writers and communicators in general. So you guys might be really good at writing or communicating, speaking, that kind of a thing. Also, I feel like you guys have very beautiful movements. Saturn is a very slow moving planet and Mercury is a very fast moving planet, but what's coming to mind for both is the kind of movement. I feel like there's gracefulness in both people who are Mercury dominant and Saturn dominant in different ways, but there's a certain gracefulness with how their gestures, how they move their hands, how they move their arms. There's just some kind of grace and dignity present. And Saturn especially is a very dignified kind of placement. And I feel like you are just not the type to like lose your temper and go crazy in public. Like you're always going to keep your dignity. You're always going to make sure that you're not acting a complete fool. Like you are just not the type to randomly decide to like throw a fit out in public. You are always going to like keep it a little bit contained. And I do feel like also that means that there's kind of this public version of you and then the private side to you. And I feel like that makes you more attractive. The fact that you're not just showing yourself to everyone. Like I feel like you have this very bubbly, outgoing side that you would show the general world, that you just might seem like you don't have a care in the world. Like you probably are friendly to everyone, talkative to everyone, always know the right thing to say, very personable. And a lot of people might feel very close to you as a result or consider you a good friend as a result. But then there's kind of that quiet, private, introspective side. And I feel like people get that kind of vibe that like, even though you're being very friendly and very talkative, that there's this whole other kind of sector to you. And I think that's why people stay being surprised by you, because I just keep getting that people are surprised by your behavior. Like they don't quite know how to take you. I feel like you guys are always doing things that people can't quite expect. Like I said, maybe traveling somewhere new or moving somewhere new on a whim. I also feel like people might have like an idea of who you are that might be very different from the reality. Like they might be really surprised when they find out you're into a certain interest. And I feel like it's not that you would hide that. It's not that you would be like ashamed or you would be like, oh, no one can know. But I just think you have like your public self and then you have your private self, and you don't really feel the need to like tell everything about yourself, and you're also not hiding it, but you're not necessarily going to mention it. But there might be like people just being like, oh, I can't believe you're into that, or like there's something unconventional about it. Like you don't just go along with the crowd, so everyone assumes like, oh, they're going to be into this too because everyone else is. And then you're like, oh no, I actually hate that, I'm actually into the opposite. And I feel like people really respect that about you. Like they think it's cool that you're not just following the crowd, and they think it's cool that whenever they ask for your opinion or thought about things, it's not just the standard response that everyone else is going to give. It's like something that's a really brilliant insight. I keep getting that you guys are very brilliant conversationalists and have amazingly good ideas. Also, some energy that's coming through is you guys being focused on your bag. Like I'm feeling like a lot of people feel that you are highly difficult to get your attention, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of like they want to be the focus and the center of your attention, but you guys have a lot more going on in your life, and being the focus of your attention would require a heck of a lot. I feel like, again, you guys are very invigorated by what you're doing. You seem like you're very happy in your life and happy in your career, and you're not just like some miserable person stuck at their cubicle hating their life. So I feel like you guys, a lot of you are building towards something, you're working on something, and it's like for someone to come in and take the focus of your attention, they're going to have to be bringing a lot to the picture. So yeah, I think, let me get some more astro dice for you guys. Do we have any other astrological energies for pile 4? So we got the 7th house, we got Taurus, and we got the nodes. So a lot of Venus energy coming through. And I do feel like you guys are physically quite beautiful, so I'm not surprised by that. And also have a lot of that Venus, charm, and charisma, where I just think you're charismatic. I think you guys could be asked to go make a speech in front of a crowd and you would just know what to say and you would know how to get a laugh from people. You would just like, there's something very charming. And I think that's, people are attracted to that competence that you have, that like, you're not going to be like weird or awkward or not know what to say. Like, you just feel like, okay, I have the dignity here. Like I know what I have to do. And that's kind of Capricorn energy, is like Capricorn doesn't sit around kind of being like, oh God, I can't believe I have to do this. I just want to sleep. Capricorn is just like, okay, I'll just do it, and they don't like go super into it and get emotional. They're just like, okay, it is what it is. So I feel like you guys have that discipline where maybe even when you're not like in a great mood and like someone asks you to go to a party, you're still going to show up. You're still going to be positive and like make a good impression on people and look cute and all of that. So people can really rely on you. And I think they find that very sexy. Like you would make a great long-term partner because of that. So a lot of people want like a long-term future with you. We did get the nodes. So people might meet you and have their destiny kind of rerouted for them, or they might imagine that they're going to end up with you one day and that you're like their soulmate and you're like, wait a minute, who are you? I met you like twice at a party. Like, no, I'm not going to run off with you. No. But I just feel like people get very attached to you and people find you so beautiful and they just wish that like they could be that role in your life. So let me get some more cards. So we got Reflecting Pool, Stillness, Willow Spirit, Flexibility, Starry Night, Acceptance, and Dragon, Power. Maybe some of you guys were born in the year of the dragon. That would be 2000, 1988, 1976, 1964, and so on, 1952, I guess. I think I'm doing the math right, but math is not my strong suit, so don't get mad at me if I'm not. But I do feel like you guys have that power of the dragon, that overall power, and a lot of you guys have a very beautiful face. There's something also about that high priestess energy that you guys are giving off so strongly. Like, I feel like you're that person that you're not really trying to get other people's approval. You're not so concerned with what the crowd is doing. You like to do your own thing. And it's not that you're like, I'm going to be a rebel and I don't want to talk to anyone, but you're just kind of like, okay, they do that. And anyway, I do this. And you're very like content with yourself and your own path. So I feel like also you guys are very like accepting. You guys are very accepting of like almost someone could tell you anything and you guys would be like, oh, okay, I understand that. Yeah, that makes sense. Like you're always going to try to find that commonality with someone. You're not going to judge them or sit back or be like, oh, that's really lame. I think that's stupid. You're going to be like, oh, right. Okay. I can kind of, yeah, I can relate. And you're going to try to find that connection point. And I feel like that's why you form so many connections and people feel these deep connections with you where you might be like, oh my gosh, like it's not that deep, but it's almost like they've never had anyone give them that. They've never had anyone accept them in the same way and try to see the good in them. That's a rare quality. So because of that, they become very drawn to you. They become very like thinking that it's more than it is. Whereas I feel like you just accept everyone. You're just very loving to everyone. But there's so many people thirsty for that kind of connection that they just end up like falling in love with you basically. And I feel like you guys have had to deal with a lot of that. So yeah, some of you guys have really beautiful hair as well. And people are very drawn to that, turned on by that. So let me get some songs for pile 4. Pang, Caroline Polachek. Okay. Wait for Me, Hall & Oates. I think there's a lot of people that wish you would wait for them. A Sky Full of Stars, Coldplay. All of Me Wants All of You, Sufjan Stevens. These are some deep feelings. I feel like a lot of people have deep feelings for you guys. You've been like a heartbreaker to a lot of people. Wish You Were On It. There's a lot of people that wish you would reach out to them. Ocean Eyes, Billie Eilish, I Want to Be Yours. There's a lot of tenderness coming through here as well. Like, I just want to point that out is that, like I said, this is not just people finding you sexy. This is like people falling in love and like getting deep in their feelings over you and like wanting it all with you and just being falling so deep with you. And I feel like some of that you don't even like fully take in or like really grasp how much of an effect you have on people. Like you kind of know it, but you also kind of mentally block that out because you don't even want the guilt. You don't want to like be fully aware of like you have broken some hearts, but you shouldn't feel guilty. It's not your fault. But I just think you're such a kind person that it kind of bothers you. So sometimes you pretend it's not happening, but it's like, think of it as a positive. Think of it as confirmation of your beautiful energy. And that spirit does know that your intentions are in the right place. And it's just a matter of like the fact that energy like yours and your kindness and your sweetness is in such short supply that people are so desperate for it that they just fall in love with you, especially combined with your physical beauty. I just think a lot of people, they're just searching for someone like you. They wish they could be with you. And a lot of people from your past are hoping you will contact them. A lot of people see you as that perfect partner or the one that got away. Like, wow, they would make such a great impression. They would be that all around well-rounded spouse that would bring everything to the table, from the looks to the like good career to the kindness to the love to the making a great impression on people. And again, like something elusive and exciting and fun. I feel like you guys would be great to go out on dates with. You would always keep the conversation popping. You would always have some interesting ideas of things to say or what you should do next. You'd never just be that person sitting there kind of like not making conversation, just staring at the wall. That's just not you guys. You would be that person that just never has a dull moment, never lets anything just get boring. So yeah, a lot of people are hoping you guys come back, and your eyes are considered very beautiful by them. They are drawn into your eyes, which I feel like have a lot of depth, and I'm seeing that spark in them. Like when you have an idea or when you have something funny, a lot of you guys are really funny as well, and people are turned on by that. They think it's very sexy, your sense of humor, your intelligence, the way you make the conversation move fast, and you're always having something to say. They find that to be really, I just heard you guys are really good at comebacks. So maybe someone like tries to kind of like say a little like feisty thing to you and you're like, oh, wait a minute, let me clap back 10 times harder. I know exactly what to say. And I feel like that kind of like is a surprise sometimes because you are so nice and you guys are so sweet most of the time that people are like, oh, they're not going to be able to hang in this context. Like there's no way they're probably going to run off and cry. But you're like, oh no, I'm choosing to be nice, but actually I'm like 10 times wittier than you are. And I know exactly what to say back. So yeah, I feel like people are turned on by that. Like you kind of are very well rounded. So we also got the River Queen flow, letting go, natural movement, the High Lord of gratitude and service, selflessness, humility, conscious action, the hungry ghost, obsession, scarcity, consciousness, attachment, and the keeper of the scales, fairness, balance. So a lot of people become super attached to you, overly attached, a little bit possessive of you. You might have had to tell some people like, you need to step off and calm down because like it's totally inappropriate what you're saying, because I feel like people, again, kind of fall in love and then think you have more than what you actually have. And you're like, we never had that discussion. We never became exclusive. Like, why would you think you would have the right to say that or to act that way kind of vibes? But I feel like a lot of people are kind of obsessed with you guys, like lurk, stalk your social media. And again, you guys effortlessly command attention. You are the star. So I feel like when you walk into the room, you're just naturally kind of all eyes on you. Naturally, people are paying a lot of attention to you. But a lot of this is because of this kind of watery, kind vibe you give off, where you're so sweet, understanding to others. You always look for the good in others, and people really respect that. They can see your soft, sweet, warm heart, and I just feel like they find that so attractive. They would love to be able to sleep with you and get to see that soft, nurturing side to you. I go into that more on my extended reading of this, which will be up on my Patreon. It should be up now by the time I'm posting this. So if you want to find out more about those details of kind of more of the intense stuff, go to my Patreon. I can't talk about everything on YouTube, but yeah, so that's where you'll find that. But I do feel like they love that tender side to you and like your tender touch, that kind of a thing. Just being very loving and being on the receiving end of your love and your focus would be a main like fantasy for a lot of people that they just dream about. You guys are just super attractive. And so again, we have flow and natural movement, where I feel like your gestures are just so attractive. And a lot of people find the way you move your hands, your arms, and just your body in general to be very smooth, very graceful, and very beautiful. And also, you guys try to see both sides of an issue always. I feel like people are always impressed by the grace and dignity with which you speak. Like, you're not the type to say crazy stuff really, or to be incendiary. Like, you tend to speak in a very kind of diplomatic way, and I feel like people are very impressed by that. It's not like you're holding yourself back, but you're graceful about it. You find a way to like give your opinion while still showing respect to others. And so I think this is why a lot of people that would usually feel overlooked or not recognized feel really happy to be in your presence, and like they finally feel understood by someone in a way that they usually don't get that kind of energy or attention. And it honestly means a lot to them. I feel like you just have had this really strong effect on so many people. So let's get some feature cards for pile 4. Let's get some feature cards. So we got secretiveness. Yep. There's that hidden side. We got muscles. Okay. We got bone structure, cheeks. That one says personality, and laugh. Yeah, I feel like you guys have a really beautiful laugh. And lips. I feel like just overall, you guys are very physically attractive. And hands, yeah. So like I was saying, your gestures, your movements of your hands, very attractive. But I do feel like it's the overall vibe, the overall energy with you, coupled with the natural physical beauty and a gracefulness to your figure. And some of you guys just feel very vital, like you might work out a lot or just have a lot of that natural energy, but it doesn't feel, like I said, like you're that person that needs a million cups of coffee just to function and hates their job and hates their life. It feels like you're just excited by life. You get enthusiastic about certain things, and you're always there to have energy. So that might come through in your physical form. We did get some Mercury placements, and Mercury tends to be a little bit like more wiry and slimmer. But then Saturn can be a little bit bigger. So it could go either way, but I'm getting kind of that Mercury vibe where you guys might fidget a lot or be kind of just lively or be kind of on the slimmer side naturally, where you just burn a lot of calories from like your movements all the time. So, you know, of course it depends on how many calories you consume, but I feel like you guys tend to err towards the side of slimness, naturally speaking, and your face is very beautiful. And Mercury tends to give that energy of, I want to say kind of like an elf is what I'm thinking of. So I'm seeing like high cheekbones and kind of like that intellectual kind of vibe, even if you're not an intellectual. And again, this is where I feel like you surprise people. It was because maybe they have this idea of an intellectual in their head and it's very dry, very like boring, but you are an intellectual, but you're in it in an interesting way. You're a lot of fun. You have interesting things to say, and you're not just like sitting inside at a computer all the time and like not out there living life. Like you feel like even though you're very smart, you're not just like head in the clouds, distant from life. You're very absorbed in everything that's happening. And so again, people are very curious about this life you have. And like, I feel like you just randomly will surprise people with a change. I just heard, and I think it's like something that's been going out around in the spiritual community, but someone made a post that was like, it's your life. And you're the writer of it or something, feel free to hit them with a plot twist at any moment. And I love that quote, but that's what's coming to mind for you guys. I feel like you hit the people around you with a lot of plot twists all the time. And they're probably always like, oh my God, they're doing what now? Or like, they did what? They went where? They were talking to who? Like, people just are surprised by you guys all the time. So we also got the Sacred Woman, boundaries, abundance, sexuality, and intimacy. A lot of people fantasize about you guys in pile 4 a heck of a lot. And it's not just about your sexuality or, you know, being turned on by you. It really is about everything, but they definitely are turned on by you guys, and they find you very sexy. They find you very attractive on a deep, deep level. Like, not just, okay, this person's really cute or they look good, but like on a soul level, I feel like they want that intimacy with you and they really dream about that. But with the sacred woman, it is a spiritual connection at its heart. It is more than just the physical. And I think you guys bring that out for so many people. You guys might be very spiritually oriented and do tarot or other things like that, because I just feel like I'm getting the vibe of kind of a spiritual leader type of energy in this pile. So I feel like a lot of people who are drawn to you, they might be shocked. They might be like, I never thought I would be into this. And I can't even explain it. Like I feel pulled to them like a magnet. Like I just feel like I can't get away from them, even though I shouldn't be feeling this way or thinking this way. But I feel like this is where your boundaries come in, where you guys have always needed to put up boundaries. Like this is not new for you. You are not like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Someone's falling in love. It's never happened before. You're like, okay, yep, it's happened again. Okay, rinse and repeat. Like, I feel like you've just always had to deal with people just falling in love and wanting more from you and wanting it all from you, and you having to kind of let them down gently and let them know that, like, I know you feel that way, but like, I'm just doing my own thing and I'm not into that. I'm just trying to be independent right now. So you're used to those like conversations and you do it in a very kind and compassionate way. But yeah, people also perceive you as having a good amount of money and being on track for success. And I feel like, again, you're kind of that energy of someone who just has it all. Like you tick off every box that someone could want. So I feel like you guys, however you guys were raised up, I'm hearing well bred. So I feel like you guys were raised with really good manners. I feel like your family, or I don't know how it came about, but you guys have impeccable manners and they really raised you to, like I said, know how to handle yourself in social situations and just to be very well behaved and just to be very genteel. So people can kind of tell, or even if you're like, no, that's not how I grew up, but people assume, they're like, oh, they must have come from a family with like a lot of money, or like, I don't know, like really good manners, really strict manners, because you just seem like you always know how to handle yourself in social situations and that you guys handle yourselves really well. So I feel like people find this super attractive and very sexy. There's so many things people find sexy about you, Pile 4. You guys really have it all and you tick all the boxes. So I really hope it resonated. Let me know if it did in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. And if you want to hear the extended version of this, definitely check out my Patreon, link in my description for that. And we'll go into this subject in much greater detail. And of course, you'll have access to all my other readings as well that I post over there, and all the future readings too. So definitely check it out. Link in my description for that. Make sure you guys like this video if it resonated, give it the thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you can find out as soon as I post. I'm sending you guys so much love and light, and I'll be back very soon for another reading. So I will see you guys then. Take care, guys. Bye.